Most people want to be with their families on Thanksgiving, or at least spend time with those they love, or like. I know every family has their problems, but I think people generally love or like their family members. Surely an intelligent person wouldn't drive 2 hours in the rain on Thanksgiving to spend time with an individual they deem reprehensible. Except, of course, for me. On Thanksgiving Day, I drove from Bridgeport, Connecticut to Beantown to podcast from the home of Patrick Reilly, a.k.a. Brad Chadford, a professional propagandist who I presume to be an undercover shill implanted by the U.S. unintelligence community into the MAGA movement to sow discord, allegedly. Paddy's a stereotypical bleeding heart liberal from the Northeast, despite the fact that he's a military veteran, albeit the Navy. He's also done a few things in the podcast world over the last couple of years, like laying himself on InfoWars, a constant thorn in the side of Alex Jones. Paddy and I don't see eye to eye on a lot of policies, but it's always fun for us to verbally berate each other, and I especially enjoyed the opportunity to berate him up close and personal right in the beast's natural environment, and not via a Zoom call. Anyways, here's a formal discussion I recorded on Thanksgiving Day in the year of our Lord, 2020. In Boston, Massachusetts, baby. Woo! Welcome to Bobby Pickles Podcast. Fuck Antifa! Welcome to the Bobby Pickles Podcast. We are on the road today. It's actually Thanksgiving Day. Happy Thanksgiving, gobble gobble to everybody. We are here in this fucking Boston outskirts neighborhood somewhere with this ridiculous person. Mm-hmm. Patrick, Brad Chadford, Reilly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Thank you so much for having me in your humble abode. I really appreciate it. This is going to be an easy,
Oh, I'm sure it will be.
This is going to be an easy edit later because we have to wear masks, and I don't really have to match up the audio with the mouth, right? Apparently, which
is weird because normally you have to match up a cock with the mouth. And since now you don't even have to do audio, this should be a really easy job for you. Easy day for you. Easy day.
You're right. I should be wary of this. This is just the beginning of it. You are always going to have a joke. We are in the Boston area. And that's how it is.
That's how we do.
Yeah. Oh, you got a truly hard seltzer here.
Hard seltzer. Exactly.
Offered from...
Hey, I got to be a host, right?
My lovely host. Thank you so much.
Yeah, there's no sugar in it, so it's good.
Now, wait a second. How do I drink this when we have to have our masks on?
All right, you go like...
Let's talk about...
one of these numbers right here.
We got to do a Gavin Newsom, right?
It's the Dark Knight style.
Okay, listen. First of all, why? Before we get into my questions, I prepared some questions for you.
Sure.
And I'm going to stick to my questions.
Okay.
Because there's things I want to know.
Yeah.
Patrick.
Sure.
Brad Chadford.
Yeah.
Of the Brad Chadford Show. InfoWars. He's got an InfoWars beanie on right now, right?
Yeah.
Nice. You got a Proud Boys shirt on? What is that right there?
Well, look, this is a special edition Fred Perry, right? It is similar to the Proud
Let me
Boys
see that. That is
Fred
the
Perry.
fucking awesomest thing I've ever seen in my life, dude. How do I get one of those?
You got to order it from Fred Perry. Yeah.
Enrique can't see this.
He's already seen it. He asked me about it. You know what? Enrique actually asked me to go because there's a Fred Perry store in Boston.
Oh, God.
But it's been closed since the lockdown.
Yeah.
So he asked me like a day before the actual lockdown went into effect in like April. He was like, hey, can you go over there and get me one and send it to me? I'll pay you for it. And I was like, yeah, man. So I go up to the store and they were like shutting the door literally in my face. They were like, yeah, we're done. We can't open it. I was like, I just want and I couldn't get it. So you can't get them now unless you order them online. But you can order them online if you want to spend $120.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, talk to me about the mask. Why do we have to like sit here and do this? I mean, I know you know me.
Yeah.
I mean, who's to say if we both like said just, that we both took a test or whatever, just like Joe Rogan does all the time.
The reason we have to wear a mask is that my wife is a nurse and she works on a floor that's probably going to be a COVID floor soon, so we can't fuck around with it. I can't get my wife fired. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up with that.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't like these masks any more than you guys do. I don't. I really can't stand it.
What do you mean, you guys? Who's you guys?
I mean, everybody who dislikes wearing a mask.
Oh.
I mean, that doesn't encompass just the Proud Boys or just MAGA people. I mean, it's just, I think human beings just don't want to walk around with a muzzle on.
Well, it's obvious.
I mean, none of us do.
Nobody does.
I mean, nobody
It's dehumanizing, isn't it?
It is, man. And it's not that I disagree with you on that point. It's just that, it's a public health concern. So we're dealing with it,
Okay. You want to get into the...
Go ahead, man.
Here we go.
Hit me.
Don't be so jittery. Everything's going to be
Do
fine.
I look fucking jittery to you?
Dude, thank you so much for having me over here. Cheers, brother.
Cheers, man.
So, would you consider yourself the most liberal, proud boy? That's basically my title for now, I think.
Well, I think you'd have to ask Enrique about that. I think, look,
are you a proud boy or no?
Well, you'd have to ask Enrique.
Why do I have to ask Enrique? I don't want to ask Enrique. I want to ask you. Are you a proud boy?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, to a certain extent, like...
So then you're the most liberal. You're definitely the most liberal proud boy.
I don't want to claim anything that's not due me, and I definitely don't want to be involved in something that I don't agree with. But as far as the Proud Boys go, like, it was kind of a joke the night that they kind of made me a Proud Boy. And to be honest with you, I was really fucked up. And so it was just like, it almost seemed like a joke. But there are things that I totally agree with, you guys on. There's absolutely no reason to think that the West is not the best. Like, you should think that. And I don't want to throw gays off buildings. And I think Islam is a boil on the ass of society.
You do?
Yeah, I do. I don't
really think that. Maybe I'm more liberal.
I don't mean to say that in the sense that I think all Muslims are terrorists or bad, but I do think that if you read the text of religion, it's horrible. But I would say the same thing about Christianity and Judaism. I think it's all disgusting to me. I'm an atheist, and I would rather not be associated with anything that has anything to do with organized religion because it's gross to me. But it is a fact. It's an incontrovertible fact that almost all the religious violence going on in the world today is committed by Muslims. That's not something you can ignore.
What do you mean? There's things actually back that up, that statement? You say there's what? Statistics? You said, back that up one more time. What is that?
Well, I would say that most of the religious violence, the preponderance of religious violence in the world is committed by Muslims. And that's not to say that Muslims are intrinsically bad people. It's just to say that I think that religion encourages the worst angels of our being. You know what I mean? Look, I think Christianity is awful as well. And Judaism is awful as well. I can't stand any of it. I think if we were all atheists, there'd be less war and all that. But it's difficult for me to say. I don't want to have a false equivalence, and say that, oh, well, it's all the same. Everybody's religion is the same.
There's no heaven.
You're right. Fuck the Beatles. But the thing is, I don't believe that you can make an equivalency between the violence that's going on right now on the Islamic side and the violence that's going on the Christianity side. It's not the same thing. It just isn't.
Yeah.
And people are going to get pissed off at me for saying that. I think Bill Maher, who's my favorite comedian, who's alive, has said as much and gotten a whole lot of shit and called as an Islamophobe, but I don't care.
Well, I was going to open this up with like a witty thing because, you're a liberal, right? Would you consider you would consider yourself
a classical liberal.
When I say liberal about myself, really, like, it's a kind of a joke. I think we're both in the middle of the road, but I definitely lean right,
Right. Yeah.
I lean right, but I'm like close to there, and I could see a lot of, I guess libertarian would be what I would be more of.
I don't know about that.
What do you mean?
Well, so let me ask you a series of questions to see what do you think about like Ron Paul?
Yeah, I like Ron Paul.
Okay, so you'd be the sort of guy who'd want to put us on like a gold standard, who would say that
hell yeah,
health insurance is a product that you purchase. It's none of my business if you have it or you don't. That's what I think when I think of a libertarian, right? Is that you?
I would say most of that is correct, but you think that healthcare is obviously a human right?
Yes,
right?
Of course I do.
Yeah.
I think healthcare is a human right, not a product that you purchase like a pair of sneakers or a television set or a car.
Okay. I think we've backed this up and prepped this enough because you said the first thing about the Muslims that threw me off for a second.
Okay.
What is it like being a liberal piece of human shit?
I don't know. Maybe we'll figure it out in the driveway afterwards. Fuck you, man. Like, I mean, seriously, that's a stupid ass question. You move on.
No, I'm listen, man. I'm serious.
That's not a serious question.
It's a serious question.
Ask a serious question.
No, that is a serious question.
Look here, boy.
What I'm saying is you are a liberal, right? You're on the other side.
Yes, I'm a liberal.
You're on the other side.
Yeah, I'm a classical liberal, which I think that you should understand better than anybody.
You didn't want Trump to win.
Of course I didn't.
All right, there we go.
He's a fat fucking rich kid, faker bullshit artist, charlatan, snake oil salesman. That's why I didn't want him to win.
It's a lot of hate.
It's not a lot of hate. It's a lot of fucking reality.
Why didn't you give him a chance?
I gave him a chance and he fucked it up. He said he was going to bring my biggest issue going into 2016 and going into 2020, the reason that I supported Tulsi Gabbard, by the way, was I wanted troops out of Afghanistan. He took 8,500 troops the day he walked in, ballooned it up to 1,400, brought it back down to about 8,500, and called that progress. That's like taking one pile of shit from this side of the street, move it to the other side of the street, and say, look what I did. Kiss my ass. That doesn't mean shit. None of those people came home. I want people out of Afghanistan now. And he didn't do it. So he also said, I'll get the debt erased in 8 years. Well, thankfully, he's not going to get 8 years to even try it. But he ballooned the fucking thing for the 4 years he had. So sorry, I'll have a healthcare plan in 2 weeks. He's a geographical oddity. It's 2 weeks from everywhere. Fuck that shit. He's lied and lied and lied, and his fat ass can kiss my skinny ass.
Anything else?
No, I'm good. Probably that's enough.
Hypothetically, if Trump actually really did win this election legitimately and Biden cheated, would you be okay with Biden getting in office on those dishonest grounds because his deceit was for the betterment of the United States of America?
No.
Good. Because I suspected that you are exactly what I just said in the previous question.
Yeah.
Because that would definitely solidify that that's what you were.
Wrong song, ding dong.
You think that the vote was on the up and up, man?
I think that in 2016, about 10 minutes after CBS, NBC, ABC, CNN, and Fox called it for Trump, he was out there publicly masturbating. I think he actually pistol whipped his wife just for giggles and said, see, I won. And now
is that what you do?
Now you are all saying, oh, well, the networks can't call it. And you're right. The networks can't call it officially. They can only project it. The Electoral College is the only group that can actually say, this is it. This is it. Right. And that doesn't happen until December the 14th. Right. But the reality is he was perfectly happy to accept the network's call in 2016. And now you guys are all crying. The networks can't call it. They can't call it. It's not fair. Fuck off, man. Fuck off.
Listen, man.
I don't care. Cry me a river, man. You lost, and you're going to have to suck it up.
Do you watch other news outlets other than CNN?
You know I do.
Because if you listen to just CNN, you're in a bubble of...
You know I don't do that.
That's what it sounds like you're regurgitating to me. Have you done any research into this? Is there any validity as somebody who...
every single day, I spend at least an hour listening to InfoWars, right? At least an hour, but probably more than that on most days, right? Except Saturday, right? When they don't broadcast. So almost every single day, I spend an hour on there. I'll spend a couple hours on Fox. I'll watch a little CNN. I'll surf Breitbart. I'll surf Daily Beast. I go everywhere, man. Everywhere. I'm the least biased motherfucker on the planet.
And
nothing. That's it. I answered your question.
You're the most biased person on the planet. So you would say the middle, pretty much? Would you say? Like, I mean,
no, I'm not in the middle. I'm on the left.
You on the left?
Yeah, but it's not as far as what the news I consume.
How does a military person turn into a liberal piece of human shit?
I was a liberal before I joined the military. I was a liberal while I was in the military. At some point in your life,
you must have been a freedom-loving person, right?
You see that shit right there?
What?
Those are medals on the wall.
The Army Commendation Medal.
Yeah. That's Blue Jacket of the Year, and that would be the Navy Achievement Medal.
Navy Achievement Medal.
And that's just because I don't want to be an asshole and fill up the wall with shit. I'm just saying. I did my time. I did my service. And what drives me crazy is that people on the right choose to call themselves patriots and tell me that I'm not. And they didn't volunteer for fuck all. For nothing. So sorry. And I'm not trying to say I'm some kind of war hero. Like, I know guys who were in and fought, like Joe Biggs, a friend of both of ours, right? I didn't do anything like that. Nothing like that, right? I'm not putting myself in that category. I'm not. And I want people to understand, okay? I was never in danger, but I was a really good fucking sailor and I did my job. And I don't want to be called, like, when people say, you can disagree with me politically, but you call me a fucking communist, and I really want to gouge your fucking eyes out. And I don't think that's an unreasonable reaction at all. I don't do it I'm just saying I want to.
Is that the preface by which you challenged me to a duel, basically, on the streets of Washington, D.C.?
Right.
Basically, why? Is that because you think that I think that of you?
Yeah, I thought you did.
I would say that you're a commie.
Yeah.
I mean, we're having it out now. I don't know. I never called you a commie. Did I ever fucking call you a commie, dude? I said commie. I said the word. I think that you're projecting onto me right now.
Okay, you know what?
I've never said that.
I'm going to go ahead and apologize to you, Bob, because you didn't call me a commie.
I've never called you a commie. We did have a bet, though. We have a bet.
You owe me $500.
No, this bet is still... What? 500? It's 1,000.
You owe me 500 now. You're going to owe me 1,000 on January 20th.
What? Yeah, what are you trying to tell me I can pay you $500 right now and get out of $1,000 bet? Is that what you're trying? No, tell me.
I'll give you that. Give me 500 right now and you can get out of the 1,000.
That's fair. Let me think about that. About that.
Because you know you're going to fucking lose.
Let me think about that. No.
Do you honestly think, let me turn it around on you. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you honestly think that Joe Biden is not going to get inaugurated on January 20th?
No, not at all. I think that we are up against, fucking dude, it's horrible what we're up against, man. We're up against a lot. And
you're up against the most milquetoast, middle of the road Democrat.
You are part of this because you will just go along with it. You see, a lot of people just want to stay safe. They don't want to really, really help to change America and make it the freedom-loving place that it
How much more do you want to insult me today?
I'm telling the truth. You can defend yourself with words. And you want to fight, we can fight. I don't care. You really want to bring it to that level, we can do it. Okay?
I think that would be fun.
Yeah, and I think so too.
Not in like a mean-spirited way, but...
I think that we should too.
Yeah.
I want to do it in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, I think that's great. I'm definitely not doing it in my driveway
streets right
on
there.
Thanksgiving.
I want Antifa in the background. Live streaming. Okay?
Yeah, right.
Hell yeah, dude.
I think they should lock us in a room with just a stick.
Fighting solves everything.
Just a stick.
Fighting solves everything. Do you like being a Proud Boy? Have you gone to any meets?
No. Again, that's the thing.
That's it. All you did was just say the first degree, basically?
Yeah. So I'm really probably not.
I mean, you said the first degree in a moment of weakness, whatever.
Yeah, drunkenness mostly.
In a moment of drunkenness.
Well, here's the thing. All right,
because really, it is a good.
Can I ask you some honest
organization.
Questions?
You think the organization is bad?
So every time I see something about the Proud Boys on TV, which I see all the time right now, right, it happens every day on CNN. I think people don't understand the nuances of what this is, right? Because it's more complicated than people think it is, right? So I try to explain this, and this is going to be a long conversation, right? But I'm if you're willing to have it, okay. So when
this is Thanksgiving. We're not with our families.
I know.
Isn't that crazy? We're not with our families. We're doing a podcast, dude.
Yeah. Well, my wife's a nurse and she's working, so what was I supposed to do? It's
insane. Why aren't you out? Not to derail. I want to listen to this, but why aren't you with family right now?
Oh, me and her are our family. So that's it. And Crash Davis, you met.
Yeah, but you don't want to go to like friends making the turkey close by or something like that?
No, we're having it next week.
Oh.
Yeah, that's going to be we got the whole setup. And, I'm not that big a turkey guy. Excuse me. So we're having ham, shit like that.
All right, anyway. Let's get back into you being a human piece of shit.
Okay. So the thing is that Gavin built the Proud Boys on skinhead, right? So, and I know this because I was a skinhead when I was younger, right?
Now, I believe you are correct. There are definitely, I can see.
No, he built it on skin.
No, please. It's numerous things. It's also the Knights of Columbus, the Catholic Knights of Columbus. Okay. It's numerous things. It's numerous things, but I do see what you're saying.
Is built on skinhead.
No, I see what you're saying, and I have some brothers actually in our chapter, Dawson, who actually would
skinheads and stuff
would agree with this right here.
Yeah. Okay. So he built it. He built it mostly on skinhead, and it threw me for a loop when I first saw guys like with big fucking beards and whatnot wearing Fred Perry's. I was like, that's fucking so funny, man.
Cool though.
That's not normal. Like skin back in the day, we'd be like, can't have that. You gotta have the only thing we would have is chops. But this is in the late 90s when it was cool to have that kind of shit. But we were like, no, you shave your head, you keep everything nice and clean, and that's the way it works. And you wear, white laces in your boots and old Dr. Martens tight jeans. But when I saw the problem, I was like, so you got the Fred Perry, but everything else is a little bit different. I was like, wow, that's kind of wild, right? And then I saw the video of the ass whipping in New York, which unfortunately some people got arrested for and went to jail and all that business. And I saw this kid, and he was like, man, I fucking smacked this guy, and he said that. And I was like, man, that was me when I was 18 years old. I remember that. Like, I remember thinking that way. And I got in so much trouble back then that I had to join the Navy to get out of it. Keep myself from going to jail. And it took me a long time to get that shit out of my head. But I still like the shirt. You know, I still like the fashion and the music and all that stuff. I just didn't like getting into brawls anymore, you know? I still like pussy, you know, and that was part of it. You know, we like to get girls and listen to, you know, punk rock and roll, boy music and you know, get into fights.
Well, you told me joining the Navy was just how to have sex with women all over the world.
Exactly. I didn't join, like a lot of guys that tell you they join the, you know, the military, whatever branch they join to like, you know, be some kind of Captain America motherfucker. And that is true for some people, but it wasn't for me. I want to fuck girls in Rio. You know what I mean? Mission accomplished. You know what I mean? Like, it worked, you know? But the thing is, like...
How long were you in the Navy for?
5 years.
5 years soiling your oats all over the world.
Yeah.
God, that is so beautiful.
I swear, like, I told you this in Richmond, I think.
And you lived in Sicily?
Yeah, I lived in Sicily.
Did you have a Sicilian girlfriend?
No, I had my American girlfriend.
What?
At the time, who is now my American wife.
Oh my God, you are so stupid.
I know, that was, you know, kind of...
Oh, this is a horrible story.
It was kind of a waste of time. But
right,
I told you,
anyway.
I told you in Richmond, I said, if I could recruit for the Navy...
Yeah.
There'd be a line down the fucking street, you know, if I could tell them what you could really do. But in any event, when I saw the Proud Boys, like, first, you know, come up, I was like, well, this is like a kind of like an off-brand skinhead. And I was like, oh, I don't know if this is going to last, because what Gavin did was he took the music away and inserted Donald Trump. And I was like, well, that's not fun. That's not going to last, because the thing that we loved about skinhead back in the day, you know, and people need to understand, I'm talking about non-racist skinhead. Like, my best friend in my stupid crew when I was a kid in Providence was a Pakistani who was also a Navy vet, was in the Navy at the time, active duty. But what he did was he took the fun shit out and put some boring shit in.
Well,
and I'm
listen,
like, what the fuck is
I
this?
appreciate your perspective, but you're wrong on that, though,
Okay.
a little bit, because dude, do you know, I fucking, not to toot my own horn, but I suspect that I was the first person, man, to actually put that together and tell Gavin that it's punk rock to like Trump. I'm pretty sure. And that's all on recorded. That's on video. The day before the 2016 election, I did a podcast with him, and I said it's punk to love Trump. So
Yeah, no,
I think I was the one to put that in there. I think that he did it naturally. I believe that what you're saying, that he maybe did a little bit of
Little
the skinheads.
design word.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. I believe that that's part of it too.
Yeah.
Now, Gavin is fucking brilliant, though, man. I mean, how many times do you basically create something and walk away from it, and then it just flourishes? And
Well, he
becomes
only
something
walked
else?
away from it because he legally had to.
I know, but I'm saying he naturally creates these things. He created hipsterdom. He created Vice News. I mean, Vice, which
He
became Vice
partially
News.
created Vice.
Partially, he co-founded it, and the Proud Boys. He creates things and then walks away from them. But what I would actually say to him, if I could talk to him, I would ask him this question. I would say, why did you Forrest Gump us? Because that's what I believe he did. Right in the heat of the moment, when you really should have doubled down, he said, I don't feel like running anymore.
Well, so I've been at a lot of events with you guys, and you know, I know a lot of you guys. I know a lot of you guys to be very decent human beings and people that I like very much, except for you. And, you know, I think that people get a wrong impression about you guys. And any chance I get that I can talk to mainstream media, I put that out there. But you have to know that there is a side, a fucking unfortunate side of it that exists. And you can't pretend that it don't. Because it do.
What do you mean?
The kid in Richmond is a Nazi.
What?
There's
Listen,
a kid.
dude, listen. There are.
The kid had a Rahowa T-shirt on.
All right, let's be transparent about this.
Yeah. So
Okay.
when we were in the same place in Richmond, Virginia, we're in the Airbnb.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
For the gun nut rally.
Yes.
I think that's what it was called, right? The gun nut rally.
We were there. Admitted.
There was a kid in there who is a fucking psychopath who had a Rahowa T-shirt on, which is
What is a Rahowa?
Rahowa is a Nazi skinhead band.
Okay.
And I talked to him about it. I tried to get him, and I told Enrique about it, and he didn't give a fuck.
Well, listen, man, I wouldn't say he didn't give a fuck. I would say
he told me
he actually wasn't even in the Proud Boys anymore. He was a former member.
Okay.
That was a former member. He isn't even in the Proud Boys anymore. He's already been disavowed and kicked out. That's what happens every time. Yes, he was there at the gun thing, and he came and hung out with us and stuff. But I would just say this. I would say that I'm an open person, unlike yourself. I'm more open than you. I would say I am willing to talk with everybody. Every single shade and color of everybody, every single gender on the planet, whatever. I don't care. And you could even be a white supremacist. I'm going to talk to you, and still there might be some be some redeemable qualities about that person.
I tried. There are none.
Really?
I tried to talk to that kid. I did.
I tried to talk to him, but maybe I tried to talk to him more than you, like the right
I tried to talk to him from somebody who came from that culture, not that particular side of the culture, but the other side of that culture. He understood where I was coming from. He just didn't want to hear it.
Let us be clear. When we talk about Gavin and we talk about the skinheads, we're not talking about the racist skinheads. We're not talking about neo-Nazis. We're talking about the skins who have their bases in traditional skins, which have their bases in
Jamaica.
Non-racism. I like your perspective on that, and I think that that's so great. I'm going to go with that on that. You know, I'm going to go with that. That's
some of the greatest skinhead music in the world.
But it was
all the greatest skinhead music in the world. Frankly, comes from Jamaica.
Dude, let's say right now, the Proud Boys is basically a mashup of the Knights of Columbus and the Skinheads.
I've always known that. I don't know why you guys never knew.
I never realized we're dissecting this crazy bastard. This Gavin McInnes is this genius.
I don't know if he's a genius.
He's a genius.
Whatever. He's not a big fan of me. I can tell you that.
Why? Oh, I was going to ask you if you wanted to come with us. And go.
He won't go anywhere near me. He thinks I'm an infiltrator.
Dude, my next question, I swear to God, this is my next question. I swear to God, this is my next question.
Okay.
Are you an undercover shill implanted by the U.S. Navy or the unintelligence community into the MAGA movement in order to sow discord within our scene?
Do you think if I actually were that thing, that I would have done it by now?
Because I swear to God, this is a scene, by the way, just like we were talking about punk rock and all those things, right?
Yeah.
It is a scene, and you know, just like me, you start meeting this person, that person, then you're in the cool club.
Right.
That's all it is. Just like everything else. Now you infiltrated.
If I were going to say some shit about
it would make perfect sense. What was your job in the military?
I was a propaganda artist.
Okay.
I was a journalist, technically.
You're a journalist in the military.
In the Navy, yeah.
In the Navy, okay. And then somehow they implanted you into the MAGA scene, right? In order to infiltrate and
15 years after I get out, they decided to,
No, because Gavin's probably right. He's probably onto something.
Okay.
Just like me, I suspected as well. And you knew that I suspected this, and it even got back to you somehow. How did it get back to you that I had planted this within?
Well, first of all, it wasn't a surprise. Everybody thought that, but people told me.
Yeah, who did?
Lots of people.
No, I only told really one person.
Well, it wasn't just you.
I said I told George.
It's not that. It didn't come from you, I don't think.
I told Titans of Liberty, all them guys. I said that I suspected this.
Well, it definitely.
And a couple people thought so too.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God, I thought that also. Oh yeah.
When I was in Portland at the farm, the chicken farm, which was actually in Washington State, we went across the border, and it was like a Proud Boys leadership meeting on this fucking chicken farm. Right, me being, I live in a concrete jungle. This is the first time in my life I've ever lived in the suburbs, but I'm used to living in Dorchester or Providence. And so I'm like, man, this is fucking... I was a little nervous. Everybody's got guns. I don't have a gun. One of the Proud Boys out there was like, hey, let me see that Bob Mullet tattoo. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You do have that on you.
So I took off my shirt, showed him the Bob Mullet tattoo. And all those guys just fucking laughed at it and threw me a fucking beer.
Dude.
So I'm telling you, I have never I felt uncomfortable for about 10 seconds, and then it was done with. And everybody was cool with me. So I want to... people need to understand, there is not a strain in the Proud Boys that I've ever seen of people who want to beat your ass for your political beliefs. I've never seen that. And I think I've been in as much as you could get in and not seen that.
We just try to reason with you.
Yeah, and there's a reason why you haven't seen...
We'll get to all that. I mean, what I really think.
There's a reason why you haven't seen a bunch of articles where I'm talking a bunch of shit about you guys, because I'm not a fucking plant. You know, I mean, if I was, I already
This probably really isn't even your real home, dude. Where is this place from which we're podcasting? Is this all part of the undercover operation?
We're in Watertown, Massachusetts. Beautiful place.
Dude, that was the next question. I really thought this through.
Okay.
I'm leading you down the primrose path, my friend, right now.
All right. You can kiss my primrose.
Watertown. Mm-hmm. How far is this from Boston?
It's about 1.5 miles from the border.
Really?
Yeah.
From the border of Boston proper?
Yeah. You just down the way.
Nice. Do you,
it's closer to Cambridge. It's like 3/4 mile.
Is there a train over here?
No, there's no more train here.
That sucks, dude.
Used to be a train here.
Now, then we're kind of far then. Well, why wouldn't there be a train here if this is close to Boston like that? Like Woburn, you know Woburn? Where's
Woburn? Well, that's north of Boston, but that's much farther north.
But there is a train there.
There's a commuter rail.
Oh, is there a commuter rail here?
No.
This sucks though, because of that. You can't get on the public transportation.
There's a bus.
There's a bus?
Yeah.
How far is the bus ride to the city?
10 minutes.
Okay. Nice. You used to work in the city?
Yeah.
And as a reporter?
No, I worked at a news station in Boston for a long time, but I wasn't a reporter.
So back behind the scenes?
I was a graphic artist. Yeah.
Graphic artist?
Yeah.
And you did stuff with production?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. You use all the... So what, you said before, you told me you used to create the tickers, right?
Yeah, VizRT is what I did. VizRT and Chiron.
What is that?
So all the stuff you see, lower third, sidebars, like all.
When you say lower third, you mean like when you have the words on the bottom of the screen when it comes up,
or when something transitions from one thing to the other, I might do that too. Yeah.
So you basically do all this, then you started applying it to this.
Yeah.
Why is Boston so goddamn liberal? You people are total scum, the scum of the earth, and not one ounce of that is hyperbole.
Yeah.
How did you seem to develop this collective bleeding heart? Is it Harvard? Is it the shitty weather? How come your politics is just as shitty as your weather? Today, admittedly, what is today? Today's a rainy day, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful day in New England.
Yeah.
And by the way, you're from New England, you motherfucker.
I mean,
so you're from Connecticut, where fucking Yale is. So I don't want to hear shit about Harvard.
I would say all of my family is from,
Oh, so you're Mr. Working Class, but I'm not. You're from fucking Connecticut.
I grew up in Florida, though. I'm from Florida.
Just because you went to school in Florida don't mean you're from Florida. You're from Connecticut. You're as Connecticut as the Bush family is. How do you like that?
Oh, no. Carpetbagger?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not, but
I think it is.
What's it called when you go from the south to the north also? Do they have a word for that?
Smart.
Everybody's fleeing these areas.
Really? You got numbers to back that up?
They're fleeing them in droves. I know they're fleeing New York.
I saw some fleas on you when I came in here, but
they're fleeing California. Matter. They're fleeing all those areas.
You got numbers to back that up?
You think that they're really the votes really match like the fleeing of all these people out of these areas such as this?
Live wherever the fuck you want, man. This is America, baby. You can move wherever the hell you want. You don't like the way the states run, move somewhere else. I don't have a problem with that. I don't know what you're asking me, really.
No, I'm just asking you about the
all I know is that the
collective bleeding heart of this area seems to be a problem.
You know what? Massachusetts pays for half the rest of the goddamn country. Arkansas and Alabama cannot exist without Massachusetts and New Jersey. That's a fact. Arkansas and Alabama and Florida, give us our money back then. Give us our money back. If you want to be so independent, fuck off. Our money pays for you to exist. That's a reality.
That is totally not. You actually live in a false reality.
New York, Massachusetts, New Jersey, and California pay for the entire country to fucking exist. Everybody knows that. And I don't have to
Do you understand what ethnocentricity is?
Ethnocentricity?
Yes. You never looked that up or anything? You don't know that word?
I understand what you're saying, but...
What's that word? What does that word mean?
Ethnocentricity. What? You're talking about having an ethnocentric state or country, or what are you talking about?
Yeah, dude. I'm talking about you and how you think. Ethnocentricity refers to a belief that your culture or ethnic group is superior to another's.
I don't think my culture...
individuals are biased and that they draw conclusions about their culture groups based on their own culture.
I'm talking about statistical facts when it comes to monetary situations in this country. Massachusetts, New Jersey,
Listen.
New York, and California pay for basically the rest of the country to subsist.
Let me ask you another way.
We're donor states, whereas Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, they take money in and they run a deficit, basically.
Let me ask you another
Yet
way.
they cry about us being liberal elites.
Let me ask you another way.
How about we stop paying?
Okay. I know you're a world traveler and you spend a lot of time in the Navy traveling all over the place and, whatever, and experiencing other cultures. But do you
Mostly broads.
Do you understand the cultures of other places throughout the United
Yeah,
States?
of course
The different
I do.
pockets, the pockets throughout the United States.
Of course I do.
Do you think that you think outside the box, or do you think like a Boston person?
No, I don't think I think like a Boston person. I've lived in Norfolk, Virginia. I've lived in Baltimore, Maryland. I've lived in different places, and my wife is from Durham, North Carolina. I definitely understand that it's different in different places. I just don't like people, giving me shit for living where I live and saying, oh, you're some, coastal elitist Yankee. But I can't call you a shit-kicking hick. I don't want to call you a shit-kicking hick, but I would rather you not call me a coastal elitist Yankee.
Yeah, but
how about we don't do either one of those
Where are
things?
you from? We're in the Boston metro area right now, but where are you from originally?
Providence, Rhode Island.
So would you say
It's 50 miles away from here.
I know, but would you say where you grew up is like an elitist area?
No,
That
where I
sounds-
grew up is a dirt fucking poor.
That sounds more like there'd be like some Trump supporters out there, probably.
Yeah, there are.
Are there?
Yeah.
So you have some friends that are Trump supporters?
Yes.
You grew up with?
Yes.
Okay, good. And they think that you're a pussy who moved away and just,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Became a pussy.
Mhm.
Eventually. But you did the right thing at first. You had some balls and you went in the Navy. That's where you were doing good. But then you went backwards in life. You and the missus, right? But that's just some insider
Well, she was
information.
always a Republican.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm
Donald
saying.
Trump changed her.
You ruined her. You
No,
you
I
ruined her
didn't.
by
I had
taking her
nothing to
out
do
of
with it.
North Carolina and bringing her up here to this liberal shithole, okay?
Look, it's not my fault that I have a huge cock. I can't help it, Bobby. I can't help that I have a huge ass Johnson. I can try to hide it. One time I tried to use some elastics, but it just turned into a situation I couldn't deal with.
You're dodging the question, though. The main question I was asking you about was bringing her up here and changing her to,
I didn't change her. Donald Trump changed her. Donald Trump changed her, not me. I had nothing to do with it. She got here, she was a rock rib Republican. Now, she's a Democrat. But if a Republican, let me give you a good example. Charlie Baker is our governor here. He's a Republican, right? I voted for him twice. If he ran again, he can't because he's term limited. I voted for him. I'd vote for him again.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. So you just didn't like Trump. There was just something about it. There's just something about him. What was it exactly that just turned you off about Trump?
Did
he remind you of a former boss you used to have?
No. Every business he's ever run has failed, except for his golf courses. Trump Tower, Taj Mahal, we all remember that in New Jersey, right? Failed. Trump Water, Trump Vodka. The guy doesn't drink, and he had the balls to try and sell vodka to people. Trump University had to pay $25 million to people for defrauding them, right? Trump Steaks, can't get those anymore. The guy's been a fucking joke his entire life. He was a TV personality. And I'm like, look, man, I want public policy, not TV personality. So I don't give a shit if he's, funny on stage or whatever. I'm not looking for my president to be a stand-up comedian. I don't give a fuck about that. I want someone to give me public policy, right? So I'm not down with Donald Trump.
People such as yourself,
Yeah.
Seth MacFarlane, and every other asshole from this area is what's wrong with this country.
Yeah, well, Seth MacFarlane's not from
When
this
did you
area.
start podcasting, and what inspired you to begin?
I started podcasting, I guess, in the beginning of last year. I saw so much content on the right that was so heated and like every liberal is a motherfucker and all this stuff. And I saw so much content on the left that was so whiny and, Young Turk style stuff. My feelings are hurt. And I thought, like, I could do something kind of like I could talk to people on the right without disrespecting them. The ones who have a sense of humor like yourself and like, Harrison Smith and like Owen Schroyer and these guys. I could actually have a conversation with these guys. Mm-hmm. They're not made out of glass. And I am not necessarily, all the way left. I mean, I agree with you guys on some stuff.
Sounds like you're in the middle.
So I thought I had.
It sounds like we're both in the middle, and I lean right, and you lean left.
But yeah, and I thought I had a path, but I've learned in the last year, almost 2 years now, that there is no path for somebody like me. Like, if I wanted to, I guarantee you right now, I almost want to do a social experiment. If I just decided to start doing a far right-wing broadcast and just took on another persona, I guarantee you I could get like fucking an outrageous number of followers in like a week. But if I keep doing what I'm doing, where I keep hacking on both sides, saying you're fucked up for this and you're fucked up for this, I'll get nowhere. But I don't care, because the bottom line is I don't do this for a living, man. I have a job. You run a business, right? Mm-hmm. You don't have to do this for a living. You do this shit for fun. Mm-hmm. I do it for fun. Like, we're similar like that. But a lot of guys that we know,
I want to do it though.
Yeah, no,
it's part of the plan, man.
I would love to have 200,000 followers on fucking YouTube and be able, people listen to me every night. But I don't think that's ever going to happen, because I'm going to say things that are going to irritate both sides, and like, oh, I don't like that. Everybody wants to be told what they want to think, both on the left and on the right. Everyone wants to be spoon-fed shit that they believe. Well, why don't you just fucking sit there in the shower and jerk yourself? Well, I mean, like, I don't give a fuck about that. It don't make no sense to me, So I appreciate what you do, because I think that, you kind of straddle a line. Like, I'm not going to drink the Kool-Aid on one side or the other. You got some opinions that probably piss some lefties off, piss some righties off,
Sometimes. Well, because I back up the Muslim thing, but I'm basing it on the fact that I have some good Muslim friends. But I've also seen the bad.
Were you surprised that I said exactly what you think about
but
Muslim?
I've also seen the bad part of it too. Like right here in Bridgeport, I used to go to a barber in Bridgeport, and he was a Muslim dude, and he would
I remember when I could go to a barber.
But he would always he was definitely trying to groom people. I could tell. He was trying to groom people, And so I've seen both. Last podcast I did was with a Trump supporting Muslim guy, actually, Zoo. But Zuhar or something like that. But I think it comes down to assimilation. Now, the African Americans, that was forced assimilation.
Right.
But when people come over here, you need to assimilate. I feel bad about the African American experience that they were forced to assimilate. I believe that some of the shit they talk about, where reparations and having maybe their own like land or something like that, I don't think that that's bad necessarily. Yeah. I know about Black Wall Street. I know that they were like making mad money. They
burned it down.
They didn't burn it down. We burned it down.
Yeah, no, I'm saying we burned it down.
We burned it down. We dropped bombs on it.
Yeah. Well,
the first, I'm sorry for cutting you off, but the first congressmen after slavery were Republican congressmen who were black.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course. Yeah.
Republicanism is a good thing. Republicanism is about freedom.
Of course it is.
It's awesome. I'm not a never Trumper. I'm a forever Trumper.
Right.
Now I'm really going to get nuts. And this shit's going to go hard, dude. During this next 4 years, people like yourself are fucked, dude. We're going to really resist you because you resisted us. It's going to be equal.
I don't have to get mad, though. I don't have to get mad.
I'm not going to get mad. I mean, I'm just going to, we just have to bring it to you guys now. That's it.
But you can do whatever you want. I don't care. I won.
Coming out with a t-shirt line, by the way, and that's all trademarked, by the way, and everything. So, Forever Trump.
Yeah, but Bobby, here's the thing.
What?
I won. I don't give a fuck what you think.
It's not over.
Yeah. Okay, tell yourself that.
Look, I mean, it's not.
The lion does not concern himself with the opinions of the sheep. I don't care what you think. I don't have to care what you think. And I'm not going to be mean to you.
How long did it take after you began podcasting to land yourself on InfoWars? I see that you have the InfoWars hat. Why don't you turn that the other way so we can actually see that, Baldy?
I'm not really popular on InfoWars.
Just like Timcast.
Well, let me tell you something.
Timcast is always wearing. Let
me tell you something.
Scully,
because this is since you bring the topic up.
How long did it take you to get on InfoWars?
The first time I got on InfoWars was totally by chance, right? Owen was talking some shit on Twitter. He said no liberals will debate me, and I just happened to see it like right at the time he said it, and I said, I'll debate you. He didn't know who I was. I'm nobody, right? So he goes, okay, we're going to book you. I was like, I didn't believe it at the time. I was like, oh, whatever, he's going to book me. And then Savannah actually called me and was like, hey, we're going to book you. So I was like, okay. This is the first time I've been on the other side of the camera. and I was nervous. I can't lie, right? So I had an interview with him, and it was cool, whatever. And then they were like, well, hey, you're kind of a reasonable liberal. We'd like to have you as like, kind of a foil. Okay. So I did a couple more, and then I went down there, and I was actually in the studio. Me and Adriana DiCiaccio, right? We went down in the studio, and we did a whole segment. It was really cool, And it was funny because Alex was actually on vacation when I was down there. So I never actually met him while I was there, right? It just happened to be the week he was gone. He was in like Mexico or something. Owen and I got along. We talked about sports because he came up in sports media. A lot of people don't know that, but that's what he did before he came in InfoWars.
I know he's from St. Louis.
Yeah. So he was
that's a big sports area.
Right, yeah. So he's working in sports media. And so, we talked a bit at the bar, just bullshitting around about baseball and stuff like that. So then I went down there again, like later in the summer, and everybody's at this lake outside Austin or in Austin. I don't know where it was, but it was close to Austin.
I think I've seen it.
Yeah, so
that's that lake that everybody jumps in.
Yeah, we're all jumping in.
That viral video of Alex jumping into it.
Yeah. I jumped into the motherfucker, right? And I damn near broke my tailbone on a fucking tree, like, because, there are fucking tree branches or roots, as we go underneath there. And I was like, argh! And it was like the first thing I did. So the rest of the time, I'm trying to pretend that I'm not hurt.
Oh my God.
And Schroyer is like fucking, he's riding by on this big ass fucking float that they had. It was like a Trump thing. And then Rob Dew was passed out the whole time, like on his own float. And I was like, is he all right, man? And he's good. He's good. So we had a blast. We had a good time. And there was a Planned Parenthood thing that day. So I went and shot it. And I disagree with their opinions on Planned Parenthood, but I like protests and I like shooting protests. So I went out and shot some video and all that stuff. What happened at the end was, at the end of the summer, there was the Straight Pride Parade here in Boston.
Remember.
And a couple of Antifa guys tried to kick the shit out of an old man who had a Trump sign, and I stopped them. And I got in the middle of it. And, I pushed them away. And Owen had me on the show, and he asked me what the Boston Police Department did. And I said, they did jack shit. And I cussed on the air. So they got mad at me. And whatever. So I understand, like, you're not supposed to cuss on the air, but I was emotional at the time. I was pissed that the Boston police weren't doing more to, help this guy. And the fact that I had to step in was ridiculous.
And you were just on recently, too.
Yeah, well, I the thing is, I can call in, but they're not going to have me on anymore.
You were on with Alex just like a month.
Yeah, but I can call in, but they're not going to have me on as a guest ever again.
You can call in, but they won't.
Yeah, they're never going to have me on
because you cursed once.
It's not that. It's
what happened.
I noticed.
Why does everybody hate you now, and why does Gavin suspect you? And what is this thing that's going on, man? What happened?
I think things changed when the election started picking up, when the cycle started picking up. In early 2019, when I started like hanging out with people, when I went to the first event with Adriana and Laura Loomer, people were more accepting of the other side because they felt like, well, we're in control. We got our guy. Like he's our man. He's in control. He's the president. Once the election cycle started ramping up, people started getting pretty unreasonable pretty fast. And I'm not saying it's just on one side, it's both sides. It really happened on both sides. So I think a lot of the guys that I was friends with on the right who were willing to have conversations with me, on air, all of a sudden were not, because they were like, we don't want to hear that shit anymore. We're on war footing. And war footing means we're trying to win. And we don't want to hear your bullshit. I mean, but that's just my perception. I'm not putting words in anybody's mouth. If the guys at InfoWars or anybody else says that I'm completely off base about that, maybe I am. But that's just the sense.
Why do you continue to be a thorn in the side of Alex Jones? Why do you troll him so hard?
I don't
think. Are you just angry that he's right about absolutely everything? Well, obviously you are not.
The last time he hung up the phone on me, which is not the first time, but the last time he hung up the phone on me, he said that there was going to be evidence in the next couple of days of Hunter Biden raping and beating underage Chinese girls put out by Donald Trump. And I said, no, there won't. He hung up the phone on me, and there hasn't been. So I was right. So he's sick and tired of me being right. That's the bottom line.
No, he's basically right about everything. I mean,
was he right about that?
At this point, I'm sure you'll agree with everything going on in this world that Alex Jones was right about absolutely everything.
Okay, if he said there's video of Hunter Biden beating and raping underage Chinese girls,
dude, yeah,
and I said no, there isn't, and there still isn't. So I'm right and he's wrong, right?
I don't know. I've heard it going off in the Twitter sphere. There's definitely word on that, isn't there? Are you watching all the Hunter Biden footage? You like the footsies?
I mean, the footage.
You like the footsies, huh? Is that why you're watching it?
Yeah.
And the crack cocaine? Exactly. You're just like watching all that footage and making sure that,
But he still lied about that.
Who did?
Alex did.
No.
He said there was
Dude, he has been right about everything.
He's wrong about that.
You don't believe that the world is run by a cabal of child sex trafficking?
Hold on. No. Deal with this. I called him and said, you don't have evidence of this. He said, yes, I do. No evidence has come out. He was wrong.
No, he wasn't. He said he does. Maybe he can't share it. Maybe
that's such a cop out. That's such an easy cop out.
Maybe. You never know.
I have evidence that Bobby Pickles fucks animals. Show it to me. No, I don't want to. You're wrong. No, I'm right. I mean, that's ridiculous, Bobby.
It sounds legit.
It actually does sound.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds legit. What's your ultimate goal with the podcasting? Are you in it to toe the corporate line, to squash dissent, and to troll anyone decent or good?
That's an incredibly leading question. I appreciate that. No, I just like to do it to point out shit that I think is fun or funny or shit that I get upset about. Look, this is for my own amusement. I know no one cares about my podcast. If anyone cared about my podcast, then I have more subscribers. The fact of the matter,
you got to pick a side.
No, I don't have to pick a side.
It is true that if you pick a side, you go up more.
I know it is, but I'm not going to do that because it's not me, and it would be disingenuous. And by the way, look, I just want to say this. I have a fucking job. I make a goddamn living doing what I do. I don't need to fucking beg people for money or ask for people to send
shit. We're in a culture war, dude.
To my Cash App or to my fucking PayPal or any of this bullshit. I fucking just do this shit because I feel like it. So if you like watching my content, watch it. And if you don't. But I don't need it one way or the other because I'm going to be fucking doing my job, paying my bills, and living in my place regardless. That's all.
Here's something we could probably agree on. Punk rock music. We both love punk rock. Sure. And when you were in here just now, we were in here right before we started playing. Yep. Right before we started talking and doing this podcast, you had Spanish Bombs on.
Yeah.
The Clash.
Mm-hmm. Greatest band
how long have you listened to punk rock your whole life or whatever, like me?
I think the first
we were talking about the skinheads and stuff before.
Yeah.
What's it like? What's the punk scene like in Providence?
Well, I don't know what it's like now because I don't live there anymore.
When you were growing up.
Yeah, so when I was a kid, we used to have Sunday matinees at the Met Cafe, which was attached to Lupo's. You could go for $5, and really we would just sneak in anyway, but you're supposed to pay $5. And you could see, punk rock bands that were, the same age as you playing. And it was...
You played too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Me too. What, you play guitar?
I play guitar. I play bass. I was a singer. All that stuff. I did everything but drums.
I didn't sing, though. I'm horrible at singing.
Yeah. We all played, and we would get to go see each other's bands. And, I remember seeing this band when I was, 16, that we all thought sucked. They were opening up for The Business. The Business was like...
I've seen The Business. I've seen them. Dude, I saw them in Baltimore.
Yeah.
I saw the Business with some other guys, actually, who have a t-shirt shop.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever... The Attack from Orlando.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Orlando, Florida. They have a huge... Dude, I mean, I shouldn't even say anything about them. They can go fuck themselves. Yeah. Because they have a really sick t-shirt business.
No, we went to see The Business at the living...
I want everybody to be successful. Dude.
Yeah,
it's good for them to be... I pray... Dear, thank you, Lord, for all my competitors.
I want to talk about capitalism in a second, right when we're done with this. But the reason that I bring up that show, I saw The Business at the living room, and I was really psyched about it. And this band that we all thought sucked opened up. And, they had this drummer who we all knew from this band in Worcester called Fit for Abuse, this kid, Matt Kelly. And he's a really good drummer. And Fit for Abuse was like this really good, like fucking badass hardcore band. And we're like, why are you playing for these guys, man? They're like this fucking Irish, Scottish joke, group. And it was Dropkick Murphys. and he ended up being the drummer for them for the next fucking
because there's a Kelly with the last name, isn't there?
Yeah, it's Matt Kelly. He's a drummer for the Dropkick Murphys, and they opened up for the business that day, and they only had like 10 songs maximum, and they played all of them.
Well, you guys had the Bosstones. You had the Bosstones up here, right? Of course, yeah. You come up to any Bosstones?
Back then, the Bosstones were a big group, and Dropkick was like this little, like, who the fuck cares about these guys? But
now
they became this fucking massive thing.
Now everybody loves Dropkick Murphys.
Yeah, what's not to love? I mean, they're a great group, but, at the time, they only had a couple of songs. They didn't have a record out. They had a 7-inch back in, I don't know if you remember what we used to call a 7-inch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, dude. Yeah. They still make them. Technically, if you really pay attention to the punk scene, which I was a part of up until Trump won, I was a part of the punk scene. I basically just traded it for the Trump scene.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like,
no, you're right. Anybody with half a brain knows unequivocally that Trump is punk as fuck. It's obvious. The entire world establishment wants him out of power, so they utilize useful idiots such as yourself and all the jerk-offs around you to vote against yours and their best interests. Right. My question is this. Can you pinpoint the exact moment where punk rock first jumped the shark? Because as we were talking about our lives. We both grew up in the punk rock scene.
Yeah, 1994 when Green Day first got big. I think that's when punk rock jumped the shark.
Okay, I'm following your logic now. So you believe, just like I do, that punk rock completely changed.
Yeah, of course.
It used to be about no government.
Yeah.
Anarchy, really.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, of course.
And now it's about towing the liberal line, being a Democrat. I think it was Fat Mike, but okay.
You think NoFX had more to do with...
I think Fat Mike himself, he was the one who ruined punk. I want to make a t-shirt that just has his face on it and said...
Fuck Fat Mike?
No, just said the person who... Oh, I can't call him... I don't know. I mean, he's not transgender, but he does like wearing a skirt from time to time.
So does Rudy Giuliani.
But that doesn't mean anything. What?
Rudy dresses in drag more than any man I've ever met in my life who isn't RuPaul.
Oh, God. Do you think so?
Yeah, I mean, how many pictures of him in drag are there? Like,
what?
Just Google Rudy Giuliani in drag. Do it right now. I dare you.
Oh my God. Don't talk about America's mayor like that.
Dude.
Rudy G's the man.
Trevor Noah said that he didn't know that sideburns got periods. That's what happened the other day with that motherfucker. And I think that's one of the funniest fucking things. That's hilarious.
Dude, Trevor Noah is not funny.
Look.
And he's not American. He should shut the fuck up. Go back to South Africa. You're an idiot and you shouldn't be talking about our politics. Shut the fuck up. You're not funny.
Well, so anyway, listen. Send Gorka out. Too.
Listen, man. I've just insulted where you live. Everybody's a jerk off around here. Okay. Why?
Well, I didn't really disagree with that.
But why did punk rock jump the shark like it has? Why did it go from something that we grew up with and something was all about fuck the government?
Yeah.
And now it's about listen, this is exactly why the Proud Boys are here. It's because of this, right? They always say that Trump is a byproduct of where we were, right? They said he's the cause of everything, and that's why we got Trump.
Look, here's the thing. If you say you want someone who's been successful in business to run the government instead of a politician, I understand that. Totally get it.
Yeah.
You say you want an outsider, get that. Someone who's not cookie cutter, I understand that completely. Someone who's not politically correct, I get that too. I just don't understand why you think this guy is that guy.
This one thing, if he just because he's the first reality star,
he's a rich prick who's taking you for a ride. He's suckering you, man. He don't give a fuck about you. He never did.
You have so much hate in your heart, man. It's punk as fuck to love Trump. It's punk as fuck to love Trump because people like you get so mad and jittery.
I'm not mad, man. I won. What do I have to get mad about?
You didn't win. Nothing's over.
It's over.
What are you? Okay, let me ask you this. This is all hypothetical. All I want you to do is just see it from my angle, and if
your angle is you owe me
for some reason, I think that you right now, if I'm seeing the writing on the wall, there's no way that we can turn this up. You shouldn't be happy about this. We live in a crazy world, dude. We live in a messed up country.
Fine. It's gonna be fine, Bobby. I don't know why you guys
in the back of your mind that there is something funky going on with that vote.
There isn't, actually.
Yeah, you do. You do.
There isn't. Well, go to court and prove it.
If we do prove it in court and the SCOTUS overturns this and Trump is installed, How are you going to feel for the next 4 years? Are you going to feel completely fucked up? Like, are you just going to, oh my God, you just got let down so hard?
No,
the whole time you thought you were going to win?
You know what? When
it's going to be the worst letdown that you've ever had.
No, look, when George Bush won, when we were at the bottom of the barrel of the Iraq War, I couldn't believe that we reelected that idiot. And we did, and I just dealt with it. And in 2016, when we elected Donald Trump and I couldn't stand the motherfucking rich prick, I dealt with it.
I just dealt with it. I love when people are successful. I love it.
But I just dealt with it. I'm just saying. You asked me a question. I'm trying to answer it. I dealt with it. No matter what happens, I will just move the fuck on. You know why? Because I love living here, man. More than anywhere else in the world. And I don't want to go anywhere else. This is the greatest country in the world. No matter who we elect or how fucked up it gets, it's better than anywhere else. And this is my country, and I love it. And that's why I raised my right hand and fucking volunteered. Nothing's going to shake that from me, who we elect or whatever. All these guys saying, oh, it's the end of the world if Biden gets in and socialist. I'm like, take a fucking deep breath, you fucking blowhard.
Nah, man. I mean, dude.
Relax. Just as like the lefties said, oh, if Trump gets in, we're going to all die.
Do you like section?
We can be serious with this. I mean, let's everybody just push away from the table for a second. And stop being such a maniac. Can we do that for a second? Can we just, for a second, have a sense of goddamn sanity? And this is why I will never get popular on YouTube, because the only way you do that is to be screaming and yelling and saying, everything's going to end, or, fuck you, man. I can't stand it. I just can't do it. I can't do it, man.
Dude, I'm very good friends with, I wouldn't say very good friends, but I'm friends with Loomer.
Yeah.
And dude, poor Loomer.
She's a fucking idiot.
Lost. And I support her the whole time, and I'm really sad that she lost. But it's a very difficult district. And, dude, what do you think about Section 230, man, and social media and stuff like that?
Well, so that's a
then
good
conservatives getting banned. I mean, that's going to increase under Biden.
Right. Well, see, you're making assumptions that you can't back up. Like, you have to actually give
Why do you think that?
All right. Well,
why do you think that I don't have to worry about that?
I remember.
He's definitely not going to try to, squash the obvious monopoly that's going on right now.
Okay, well, we're going to come to some stuff we agree on a lot in a second. But first of all, I remember hearing constantly from conservatives back in 2016, don't prejudge what Trump's going to do. You have to give him a chance. He won the election. You got to give him a chance to govern. Okay,
did
fine.
you?
Yeah, I did.
Right.
I hoped he would bring troops home. I hoped he would do a lot of things. He didn't do any of that
There's
stuff.
been no new wars.
Yeah, so he gets...
He's bringing like peace everywhere.
That's like the smart...
Peace in Korea.
Okay. Oh, peace in Korea, my ass.
Dude,
they still have nuclear weapons.
Middle East
Look,
peace.
You're not going to get me off track here. What I was saying is, I was willing to give him a chance. You guys are not going to give Biden a chance. You're not. You've already said you're not. I know you're not. It was never going to be a contest. I knew it was that was the way it was going in. You're going to call him socialist, no matter what he does.
Well,
he could come over there and
Biden is an illegitimate president.
Yeah, I know, because you didn't vote for him, but you don't always get to win, Bobby.
Dude.
Sometimes you have to lose.
No way. Look at the down ballots.
I lost last time. I sucked it up and dealt with it.
Look at the down ballots. Use some logic.
Look, here's the thing. I lost the last time. I didn't like losing. But what did I do? I went out and I made friends with all you guys. I hung out with you guys. I respected you guys. I didn't fucking call you names.
Okay.
I didn't denigrate you. I hung out. We went out. We had beers. We fucking joked around. We had good-natured ribbing. We disagreed on a lot of stuff. But I didn't call you motherfuckers fascists or all this other bullshit. But what you're going to do right now is you're going to go out and call all of us communists and whatever the fuck. Why don't you take a little hint from what I did last time and try and do that? Why don't you do that?
Yeah, no, I respect that. Here's the thing, though. They resisted.
How'd that taste?
They resisted Trump, dude.
Because it went right back into your mouth.
I've said this a couple times on the podcast, and my philosophy is this: we live in the greatest country because we have a tug of war in politics. There is right and left in every country. You go to any country, they have right. I
agree with you 100%.
And you've lived in Italy, and I know Italy. I have family in Italy, and I've been to Italy. It's right. We know that. We know that. You can go. So I have a cousin. His dad, Goffredo, was a communist.
Yeah.
You know, like back in the 60s.
Still a lot of communists in Sicily where I live.
You know the history of Italy, so you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
You go to any country.
This shit doesn't work.
It has a right and a left aspect.
Yeah.
You have a right and left aspect.
Yeah.
We have this tug of war that happens within the country that's so beautiful, man. If I respect it, I really do feel that both right and left are both essential. You can look at it like this. They're a baby or whatever. Let's not say a baby, man. A kid falls on the floor. Maybe like 2 years old, a year and a half, 2 years old, whatever. Falls on the floor. The mom wants to come up and help the baby up. That is the left. The dad says, son, get up on your own.
Right.
That is the right.
Sure.
It is. Sure. It is. If you want to break it now, those are both correct. Right. They are both correct. Right. If the kid falls down and the mom comes up and be nurturing and come up is good. That's good too for certain times. Yeah. It's good for the dad to say, get the fuck up on your own certain times.
Right.
What we should be doing is every 2 years we have an election.
Yeah.
We trade out, Republicans and Democrats. We trade out right and left. People that think like this, they think they want to help the person up or the person who says enabling them to do it on their own. And you have these different philosophy people coming in every 2 years, shaking it up. And I almost feel like for the presidency, you should go along with whoever the president is. And I respect you for somewhat going along with it. I feel like the country should, because you go along with it and you go in the tug of war. No. And every 4 years to 8 years, you land in the middle, because it usually happens like that. We always, after we're done with a Republican, we always vote in a Democrat. Usually after the Democrat, we vote in a Republican. And we always stay in the middle because of this over the long run. And that's fucking smart. The resistance movement against Trump was never done before, ever in our country. Ever. And as a liberal who lived in fucking New York City and shit, and that's where I was coming from, moving down New York, down to Florida,
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
And opening up a shop down there.
Yeah.
That's where I was like, I'm joining the Proud Boys, because this is bullshit. This guy I wanted to see where the country could go. I wanted to see it. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. I wanted to see what he could do. I want to see this guy, whether he's fat, and he's not a good, whatever you say, he's not, he's a fake businessman or whatever you say. I wanted to see him.
I'm just going to give you 2 reasons why the resistance movement existed.
And you're right. You know what's probably going to happen, dude? And we'll get right to that. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, it's okay.
You know what's probably going to happen?
No time limit. Yeah.
These guys, these Republicans, aren't going to resist. When it comes down to it, I bet you $1 million, they just go back to their old ways, they go back to work, and they forget about it, because Republicans don't have any balls. They don't have the balls to go out there and resist. They should be doing it, because what I believe is this. Every action yields an equal and opposite reaction. Therefore, the reason when they did this undemocratic bullshit,
that's Trump's law, right?
And went right along with all this. It is Trump's law, dude. Trump's law is you always get them back, dude. You always have vengeance.
Yeah.
And they are scumbag motherfuckers. You guys are scumbag motherfuckers who deserve vengeance.
Okay.
And you understand vengeance because you lived in Sicily. Some Sicily shit needs to happen right now. You scums.
So to explain why he got the treatment that he got, and you're right, it was rougher than any other president
ever
that I'm aware of.
Yeah,
that we've been alive for.
Exactly.
The reason that he got that was that he spent 8 years of the Obama administration saying that President Obama wasn't really president because he was a Kenyan. Hold on. So then when he got elected, we said, you're not really president because you're a Russian hack.
Oh my God.
And he couldn't stand it. And I was like, hey, man, I like the Beastie Boys. And what goes around comes around, and what comes around goes around. You can suck a dick, because it's not human nature. Straight up not human nature to take an ass whipping from somebody.
You're saying he started this?
He started it. So he gets to eat it. You made your bed, man. Now fucking lie in it. This is the dish you have to eat. You said that Barack Obama wasn't legitimate for 8 years. So now we're going to say you're not legitimate for 8 years. And if you don't like it, you can kiss my skinny, hairy, white Irish ass. I don't give a fuck about your feelings. Fuck your feelings, Biden 2020.
Well, I hope I didn't just reinforce the bad.
Oh, you just made it easy for me.
No, because you guys are totally out of line. But no, he made a couple comments.
No, he didn't. He spent 8 years on Fox News saying that man is a Kenyan.
How many times was he on Fox News, dude? It wasn't 8 years.
He has a Monday morning Fox and Friends slot every Monday morning for fucking 8 years, and you can look it up. Yes, 8 years. Look it up.
Yeah, a couple times. Yeah, you talked about that, and I believe it, kind of.
So what?
He probably was.
This is the thing about Trump.
He probably was born in Kenya.
Trump wants to say anything he wants to say, and then when he gets into office, he wants everybody to forget he ever said anything. No, baby. What goes around comes around, and what comes around goes around.
Okay.
And you can suck it, man, because your nose is brown. That's the way it works.
Now,
and by the way, the whole time Obama was dealing with that shit that Trump was talking about him being Kenyan, Obama just did the job. He didn't react to it. He ignored it. Trump kept saying, I can't do my job because you're constantly talking about Russia. Well, if you were not an infant and you could just do your job and ignore this shit, then you wouldn't have a problem. But you can't. He couldn't.
Listen,
he had to tweet.
Listen.
I'm
sorry. Making a couple of guest...
He's a fucking cocksucker, man.
Okay. Making a couple guest appearances on Fox and saying some conspiracy theory shit about our current president once or twice within a span of 8 years. No. It wasn't like that.
All right, well,
does not constitute a tribunal against you for 4 years. Okay, the crime doesn't fit the punishment.
Get your mouth
it does not
off
fit the
Vladimir
punishment.
Putin's cock.
That was all
for just
fake.
5 seconds. Then maybe he wouldn't have been investigated.
All right. I'm done with you. You're an asshole. Let's just discuss your stupid fake name. I have one. You have one. We all have one.
Sure.
What do you know about the unorthodox Major League pitcher Chad Bradford? Brad Chadford. Chad Bradford.
Brad Chadford.
What were the circumstances behind you desecrating his good name, Patrick?
Okay. I used to play baseball. I played baseball for a long time.
He played for Boston, didn't he?
He did for a year. But he was famous for the Moneyball.
Billy Bean.
The Moneyball.
Did you get it from the movie? Because that's pathetic.
No. So Brad Chadford, Chad Bradford pitched a submarine. Almost underhand.
Underhand or
he used to scrape the dirt.
Because his dad had one arm or something like that.
He was the most extreme underhand.
He used to play catch with him with his other arm.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, I fooled around with throwing sidearm. And when I was an adult, I was pitching a game in Danbury, Connecticut.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And this is 2005, October 1st, 2005. I threw a pitch and my humerus snapped in half. I broke my arm right here. And they had an ambulance on the field and all this stuff. And it was like,
oh my God, when you're like 25, 26?
I was 25.
What were you, you were just part of like a league, like a fun,
we played vintage baseball. So we played with no gloves, with a hard ball. We played by the rules of 1880s.
With a wood bat?
Yeah, 1886 rules.
Awesome, dude.
So wore the old uniforms.
That's badass. Really?
Yeah. So I did that.
That's fun.
I did that for 17 years. So
you pitched?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's another, I used to pitch in Little League.
So I broke my arm.
That's awesome, man.
And I didn't know what happened to me. And it was just but I threw kind of like Chad Bradford back then. And I came pretty close to touching the dirt, and I used to be able to get right-handers out easy with just about everything. This day, for some reason, I knew something was wrong, and I thought, I'm just going to get through this inning, and then I'm going to give the ball to somebody because I can't do it anymore. I had no idea the next pitch I threw, I was going to snap my humerus in half. So I broke my arm, went to the hospital. It took me about 1.5 years to come back to get regular again, but I could never throw from that angle anymore. And when I started doing the podcast, I was still working at the news station that I was working at here in Boston. And I thought, well, I can't use my name because, if somebody complains, I get fired. So I was like, well, what should I do? What's the stupidest name I can come up with? And I was like, Brad Chadford, a reverse of Chad Bradford.
I know.
It was fucking stupid
and
name.
See, I knew that guy.
But I always loved the way he threw, and that's,
Now, you know where I learned about him? I didn't learn about him from the movie, but I learned about him from the book. I read the book.
Yeah.
I read the book
That's
Moneyball.
a great book.
Love
great book.
What's his name? Lewis? What's his name? The writer? The guy's fucking great.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I can't remember.
He writes some awesome books, but I loved that.
My favorite part
because he really goes in to the whole history of Chad Bradford.
Yeah.
Goes in his whole his father and how you don't see it in the movie and stuff like that. So that's where
he was a really effective reliever for a long time.
Yeah.
And people don't give him a lot of credit for it because he was freaky. But I felt like I was I can get guys out that way. And what was funny is I felt like I got more velocity that way. And I could throw pretty hard. obviously I threw hard enough to snap my humerus.
Well, I did that. I mean, I didn't snap my humerus, but I snapped my tendon,
yeah.
my bicep tendon.
Right.
Oh my God, that was horrible, bro.
Yeah.
That was horrible. You need to get it fixed within 30 days or you'll be a cripple for the rest of your life.
Well, the tough thing was that they put, so the cast went from here all the way down to my knuckles, and they put a ring on it with a fucking rope around my neck so it would hold it, right? So I felt like Sweet Chuck from fucking Police Academy.
Dude, that's hilarious.
Like,
You just said Sweet Chuck.
And then trying to get laid at the time was like, I had to like put on my girl's ass and be like, you know, one of these numbers. And I'm like, don't move. Don't fucking move, because my arm would hurt. I was like, stay still. And I'm trying to like focus on him. And then, by the way, try to wipe your ass with your offhand. A lot of things you can do with your offhand. Like, you can learn to write your name with your offhand. Wipe your ass. Like, half the time you end up with a stripe up your back. And then you have to just get in the shower.
Well, thankfully, it happened to my left hand. My left arm.
Yeah.
And this is actually, I got to actually go, like, me and my buddy Yo Jeff went to go play catch with him, bro. And it was the first time he's like, here's a mitt, take this mitt at the beach. And I was like, oh fuck, I haven't like even caught or played catch ever since that happened. And boom, I can catch. Like I'm like very like, thank God. That was some scary shit, dude. Not be able to use it. But back to your one thing that changed. Now I put my wallet in my back right pocket, not my left.
Yeah.
Now I put it in my back right pocket. Before my whole life, I put it in my left pocket. Now I put it in my right.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah.
Because of the however long I was recouping from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit'll change, man. Catastrophic.
We're on Thanksgiving. This is the last question I got for you.
Okay.
And then we're done with the podcast. How was it? It was good, right?
Yeah.
It's Thanksgiving 2020. Yeah. What are you thankful for?
I'm thankful I'm still alive in 2020 because there was a time there I got kicked out of our last place because Marie got COVID. It turned out to be a good thing because we got a place that we like better. But yeah, man, I just think that this has been so tough for so many people that I'm just glad I'm not in the street, man. I'm glad that I'm able to pay my rent, and I'm glad I'm able to apply my trade. The company I worked for was like, hey, man, we need you to take a 30% pay cut for about a month. And I was so happy when I heard that. I was like, that's it? 30% for a month? That's cool. They're like, yeah, that's what we need you to do. And I was like, I'm in. Let's do it. And then after a month, they were like, all right, back to normal. And I feel so fortunate, man, because so many people have not been that fortunate, and I got lucky, so I have absolutely nothing to piss and moan about. My wife does what I think is, God's work as a nurse, working her ass off sometimes on a COVID floor and sometimes on a med-surg floor. And I just think we're incredibly fortunate, so I have a lot to be thankful for.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for having me over. I appreciate it.
Anytime, babe.
Go fuck yourself.
All right.
You're a piece of shit. You're a human piece of shit.
I will.
All right, and that will never change.
All right.
He always says, that's me. With that look on his face, he'll talk about anything. Outstanding. Tattoos, t-shirts, politics, history, and hot sauce on everything. Bobby Pickles. Pop culture, documentaries, conspiracy theories, sarcasm, and fear. It's a conversation, start listening, cause we're all here. Bobby Pickles Podcast. That's me.
No, you're right. Anybody with half a brain knows unequivocally that Trump is punk as fuck. It's obvious. The entire world establishment wants him out of power. So they utilize useful idiots such as yourself and all the jerk-offs around you to vote against yours and their best interests.
I'm going to have...
My question is this, sir.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
He leaves just at the pinnacle of this whole podcast? Are you serious? This is what I want to get to. This is the point that I need to make. Even though I would like refreshment.
Yeah, that's what I'm drinking.
Thank you. The power first? Sweet.
FadsEnzo.com